Okay, here we are back at Independent Motorcycles. We are here with the Tenere 700. We've done new Viscera pads and Brembo discs up front. As requested for the Warrant of Fitness, we need to replace the steering head bearing and put some new tyres on. So as you know, we're going back to the Pirelli STR, the OEM tyres for this bike, getting rid of the Mitas because they've done their dash. And right, I'm gonna we got the beautiful new Camel ADV plastics on the bike too, so it's looking good. Looking forward to getting a warrant and getting it clean and getting on the road. Let's hand the keys over and see what they think. All right, keys are dropped, bike's ready to go. Fingers crossed we end up with a warrant at the end of the day. Thank you, Independent Motorcycles. Good news, we now have a warrant on the Tenere 700. Yes we do. We've got, they're not brand new, they're a little bit used, but there's heaps of meat on those. The Pirelli Rally STR tyres, front and rear. Actually that's the other way around, that's the front obviously. We've got brand new Brembo discs and Viscera pads, which stop brilliantly. Got some shiny new Camel ADV plastics. So yeah, really happy. Tenere 700 is legal for another 12 months. Right, time to ride it. Which brings me nicely to the subject of cost of ownership. When I bought this bike, they were going new for 17 grand. I think they're basically 20 grand now. Maybe a bit more, but that's not what I'm talking about. The cost to buy the bike is part of the cost of ownership, but it's not the whole story, right? The cost of ownership is what it costs you to service and run the bike for the length of time that you own it. I'm bang on 3 years now owning this motorcycle. It's done 43,415 kilometers. Which means I have serviced this bike. If I had bought it new, I would have done the first service at 1,000 Ks and then 10,000 Ks after that. I didn't do that first one, and I bought it for a fraction under recommended retail price. So I've done the 10,000 K service, the 20,000 K service, the 30,000 K service, and the 40,000 K service. So that's 4 oil changes, 4 filters, 4 oil packs. What else have I done? I put the crash bars, the skid plate on here. I've been through 3 sets of tyres. I've done countless other modifications. Realistically, the stuff I had to do. 3 sets of tyres, 4 oil changes. What other maintenance have I done? Chain and sprocket set. And now for this warrant, I've done 2 brake pad changes, 1 full front and rear, 1 just the front, and that was, you know, what you saw in the previous video, and 1 set of discs again in the previous video. For 40,000 Ks and 3 years of ownership, that isn't bad. And a battery. I've done a battery in this bike because it died after 2.5 years. That isn't bad. The bike, I mean, yeah, I bought a brand new bike and I wanted it to be reliable. And in 3 years, the bike, apart from the battery, has never not started. So there's 2 things going on there, I think. One, it's a good bike. The CP2 engine is damn reliable. But also, if you maintain your stuff, it's going to last you for a long time. I've seen these bikes up to 100,000 Ks on the internet. So, Tenere 700, newly warranted. Now it's done its 3 years of new ownership. it's into 12 monthly warrants. So we'll be doing a new warrant every 12 months. And if this was just a city bike, then it probably wouldn't have needed the brake discs. But it's used for its intended purpose, right? It's an adventure bike. It's used. It gets off-road. It does the best of both worlds. It does everything I need it to do. So what's next for it? Oh yeah, and I did the suspension. However, that wasn't a need to do. In 40,000 Ks, you should probably get your suspension serviced. I didn't need to go as far or as crazy as I did with the suspension. It improved the bike no end. It really did. But I didn't need to go that far. If you owned this bike, you wouldn't have to. You could just do a pump and dump, maybe a respring, bit of heavier fork oil, and leave it at that. It might be mind over matter, but having the steering head bearings done makes it feels like the bars turn a lot easier. I'll tell you what I am noticing though, is the profile on these tires. They're not worn, and so I can steer the bike with my hips. It's no longer running on the not flat tire, but you know, the worn center bit that is flatter than the rest of the curvature of the tire. It's lively. It wants to turn now. I almost want to find some twisties to go and ride. Running on those Mitases. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I meant to. That's the other thing I meant to talk to you about. So the Mitas E07 Plus tires. When I first put them on the bike, they were tipped to last less than 10,000 kilometers. I have since ridden over 30,000 kilometers on the front and something like 20 to 25,000 on the rear. That is exquisite. That is fantastic for an adventure tire. So yeah, I highly rate the Mitas E07 Pluses. Back on the Pirelli Rally STRs now, which some people really dislike, but I really think that's kind of an internet thing. You know, somebody says something on the internet and everyone's like, yeah, they're shit tires because they're OEM. But they're not shit. And yes, I do probably more highway kilometers than many other people with this bike. I'm aware of that. These Rally STRs, they're great on the motorway. But they aren't as bad off-road as people make out. That's for sure. It's lovely being on what is essentially a new tire. The noise of the bike has changed even. With the tread pattern change. It's I want to say it's almost a nicer bike to ride on the motorway. On these Rally STRs. It's almost nicer. Those Mitases, especially the rear, ridiculous grip off-road for an adventure tire. Don't get me wrong, it's still not a knobbly. The other thing I did recently, but since the last video, is I got on a video call with Todd Heslin, my mate Todd, old mate Todd, who's big on Dave Moss's videos. He understands what Dave's going on about. I understand what Dave Moss is talking about when he's talking about it, but it doesn't sink in. And probably because I don't have the experience. But I noticed that it's been about 4,000 Ks since the YSS suspension went in. The forks, they're getting worn. If the fork oil is wearing out, it wears out from day one. And I noticed that I had a little bit of bounce in my. It was compressing, it was rebounding, and then it was settling. So we put 2 turns of preload into the forks, and we tightened up the rebound by 4 clicks. And that just settled the front, stopped it on the rebound, going all the way up and then settling. We didn't do anything to the rear. The rear is still good, and it's sharpened up the front end of the bike noticeably. So with all the changes to the bike, tyres, steering head, bearings, brakes, and adjustment to the suspension, it really does. It feels like a new bike. It feels lively. It feels subtle. Supple is the word I'm looking for. Feels supple and lively and ready to go, which is exactly what you want with GS Rally 2023, based out of Rotorua, coming up in a little over a week's time. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, come along for the ride. If you've watched this far through this video and all the other ones, chuck 49 in the comment box below. And that's for no other reason other than it shows me that you watched the whole way through the video. Chuck 49 in the comment box below, and I'll put you on my Christmas card list. Thank you very much for watching. Getting some great feedback at the moment from people watching the channel, who are saying, hey, love what you're doing, thanks very much for making the videos. So thank you for watching, and thank you for commenting, and awesome. Alright team, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below. That's what you got to say, isn't it, on a YouTube video? And I will catch you in the next one. Hooroo!